Rich Dad, Poor Dad. No, it's just a great book, you know. It's really helped me with my financial literacy, and it's just helped me become the person that I am today, alongside many other books, you know. But this book in particularly has really sparked an interest in my life to want to get out of the rat race and beat the whole system in a sense. And I just wanted to tell you guys some of my favorite quotes from it because I really do like the book and it's really helped me out in life. And I hope that you guys have the chance to read the book if you haven't already. It has been out for a long time, but one of the quotes my mom told me, she said, a good book, it'll never get outdated. So that's something that's kind of with this book. It's it's not outdated yet. He still has so many very good ideas and very good pieces of information that will continue to inspire generations of youth, which will in turn spark so many different entrepreneurial journeys. Yeah, so I wanted to get into the first quote. The difference between poor and broke is temporary and poor is eternal. And that plays into a lot of the quotes that he's had throughout the book, but it's just showing how your mindset is the most important key to becoming financially successful one day and financially free. Because if you always think that you are well off and you're successful, then in turn your brain will continue to spit out ideas and your brain will continue to believe in itself in a sense, so that you will continue to be successful and you will in turn be the man that you want to be or woman that you want to be because you think that you are. I mean, it's kind of like confidence and everything. You think that you are the man that you see in the mirror, or you think that you are this man, that man. Then in turn, you will shape yourself to become that person. No matter what you do in life, you'll be shaped into whoever you believe you are. Um, I mean, it's kind of how it is. So if you eternally believe that you're broke, you'll never be rich, you won't be unless you win the lottery. Then you will. But let's spend the money in 2 to 3 years and be broke again. It's all a mindset. That's what it is. So it's kind of like just manifestation. I mean, that's all it is. I personally manifest every morning, and it sounds weird, but just psyching yourself up, you know, it's always a good thing to do. And telling yourself that you've got this, or that you are successful, that you are a good looking man, that you attract women, it will help you to be more confident when it comes time to go talk to those women, or to be put in a position where you need to be a successful man to get the job. And the next quote I want to get into is a person can be highly educated, professionally successful, and financially literate. And that's just kind of where you want to be. I mean, you don't want to stop at one. I mean, in a sense, if you're professionally educated or professionally successful, you have the ability to be successful in that one genre. But when you get out of it, like a pilot, like a doctor, it's going to be hard to find another company that will recognize all your accomplishments other than an airline or a doctor's office. The next quote I want to get into is, rich people acquire assets, where the middle class acquire liabilities that they think are assets, and then playing onto it, poor people, they acquire liabilities, just liabilities. Um, it's very true. I mean, too many people nowadays just buy things because it gives them pleasure. They buy things because they think it's an investment, where in reality it's just depreciating over time, like cars. Unless you go and buy a very old car which appreciates in value, you're always going to lose money in that sense. And in the past few years, we've kind of seen something different than that, with the whole used car market kind of shooting up and people actually making money on cars that they've owned, which, I mean, you don't see it very often, but it does happen. But people, they just spend too much money on stuff that doesn't bring them money, and they use their money on stuff that literally just depreciates and doesn't really, and they don't allow their money to make them more money. Where people who are very wealthy in the upper class use their money to make more money. So they buy investment properties, they buy cars that aren't going to depreciate in value, or they don't go and buy cars that are a liability in a sense, the bigger liabilities. Like going and buying a new car that you know is going to depreciate 20% as soon as you drive it off the lot after those papers are signed. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad because so many people are just told to go and to buy these things because it makes them appear cooler, it gives them a nicer status, but in reality, status, it's very important for men especially, but it doesn't fuel your financial intelligence at all. I mean, it's just because you have a nice car doesn't mean that you are going to be able to make $1 million in a day and 2 years from now. Just because you made the money to buy that car doesn't mean that you are fueling your financial knowledge to be able to buy another car in the next week. I think just too many people buy stuff and they don't really think about the consequences, and then that's how they kind of get trapped in these situations where they have to work their 9 to 5, because if they don't, the house gets taken because they can't pay the mortgage, the car payments can't get paid, so their car gets repossessed, and then it kind of just throws them back into the matrix, because the matrix has you trapped in so many different situations. I mean, has you trapped on social media, has you trapped on having to go and eat at McDonald's. I mean, food prices are more expensive at the grocery store than they are at McDonald's, so why wouldn't people who don't have the money eat at McDonald's? I mean, in that situation. But once they get you into debt, then they really have you wrapped around your finger. Inflation goes up and interest rates shoot up, and then you can't really get rid of the debt because the debt just keeps getting bigger. And your job's not paying more, it's paying less because groceries are more. But yeah, it's kind of just, you have to acquire assets. You got to stop acquiring liabilities because that will just keep you stuck. I mean, it's simple to say, but it's a lot more complicated than you'd think. Next quote I want to get into is, the richest people in the world, they build the networks, and then the poor people and everyone else, they look for the work. So it's kind of like what everyone says. I mean, the more successful people build the structure, and then the other people come and rent it and live in it. It's like an apartment building. The smarter person, or they don't even have to be smarter, it's who you hire and it's who you bring into your situation, who kind of help influence how wealthy you get and how many people come and look for what you have. And like chain restaurants and Walmart and everything, they started off with one store, and now they have hundreds of thousands, millions of employees, all because they started the network. They started the first complex, and everyone else came and lived in it. Yeah, so it's just kind of, you got to start the network, and you got to start all this stuff to the point where everyone else comes and looks for you for work and looks for you to help grow your company. So I suggest that everyone builds their own and stops growing other people's companies. It's a lot easier than it sounds, but I mean, just kind of be more ambitious and go out for something. I think that too many people kind of get stuck with fear. They don't really think about what they should do. They just think about how to survive and not how to truly live. They just think about being alive. This kind of plays into the last one, but just how people, when they're looking for work, they say, "Oh yeah, I don't need money. I don't like money," but then they work for 8 hours a day. So it kind of just plays in the whole situation. It's like, how are you gonna say that you don't need money and you don't like money and money's evil, all this blah blah blah, but then you spend your whole life away from your family just to acquire more money? I mean, it's just, in a sense, it's just laziness. I mean, that's all it is. It's very hypocritical too, because you're going to talk about how you don't like money, how money's evil, but you literally waste your whole life acquiring money, while the people who are more successful understand sacrifice, understand that they're going to have to put in these building blocks and this foundation so that one day when they have their family, they can spend time with their family while you're still working for them. the next quote, it plays into all. I mean, all the quotes they play into each other, and I really do love this book. It's a very good book. I think this is my second time reading it now. I mean, it's some people have probably read it a lot more, but I just thought I'd make a video because it's a very good book. So the fourth quote is gonna be job is just an acronym for for just over broke. So this quote, it's so true. I mean, it's kind of like surface level thinking. It's you think, but you're just thinking. You're not really thinking above what you should be. You're not cognitively like intelligent. You are just saying stuff to say stuff. Just like a job is just over broke. So you're not broke, but you're still poor because you are a slave to your job. You're a slave to the people who are paying you. And this kind of plays into women and feminism and how these men are the bosses to these women at work. And then when the woman is constantly 8 hours a day getting told what to do by another man, and then this man is paying her, in a sense, it ruins her relationship with her husband. It ruins her relationship with her boyfriend. I mean, it ruins her relationship because in our primal forms, we were told what to do, and women were told what to do. I mean, it's bad to say, but women were told and what to do by their husbands. And then when you are being told what to do by your boss, it kind of just messes up the whole flow of things, and it kind of messes up life. I mean, it messes up your relationship because you're constantly being told what to do by this other man, and this other man is the more masculine figure in your life, and then you can't really be with your husband. It just doesn't work like that. And yeah, but I don't know. And then this is the last quote I want to get into. This one's my favorite quote, by far. The single most powerful asset we all have is our mind. If you trained it properly, then it will create enormous wealth. It's very true because you can have all this money, you can have all this stuff, and then with a click of a button, your bank can be shut down or your house can be taken away, but what you can't have taken away is your mind. So as long as you have the ability to create wealth through a powerful mind and a well-trained mind, you will always be successful. Even if it's not through money, you will always be successful because you are disciplined, you are trained properly to do the things that other people will not do. And too many people nowadays, they just kind of tone themselves out. And it's sad to say, but everyone has poor mental health. Nowadays, everyone has poor mental health, but there's so many lies being told that are just constantly making the mental health worse. Women being told to go to work and all this, but they don't really find joy in it. They just do it because they get told by their friends that it's empowering them, but in reality, I mean, it's empowering you, but then you're kind of wasting away your life when you could be raising children or being with your husband, being with the most important man in your life, but instead you're with your boss being told what to do by another man. But too many people, they're just with their minds, they're not training it. And Robert Kiyosaki, he's gone into so much depth about how he has very poor friends and very lazy friends and just how they have so many excuses. And he was kind of laughing at the excuses because he's like, I'm not going to force you to do it, but I would hope that you would have kind of a want and a need to be financially successful, to retire your parents, to retire your family, to do all this stuff, to provide for your children. But you can't really be forced to. I mean, it's something that's from within, and there's too many people nowadays that don't have it within, or they do have it within, but they're always being told not to. They're being told that it's scary. They're listening to their brain. They're just being pussies. I mean, there's nothing more than they're being pussies, and they're not going and they're not being ambitious, and they're not setting these goals, and they're not achieving these goals, and they're just basically wasting their life away, because when you die, what have you accomplished? I mean, really think about it. When you die, you can't really change anything. I mean, you're dead. I mean, we all hope for eternal life or stuff to happen after, but in reality, we only know we have this one chance to do something cool, so why not be the best person that you can be? Why not do cool stuff? Why not hang out with the people you love? Because when they're gone, there's no idea if you're ever going to see them again. And those are 5 quotes from Rich Dad Poor Dad that I wanted to share with you guys that really have impacted my life. And there's so many more. I really suggest that you read the book. Really indulge, or at least read a summary. Just read something about it, because Robert Kiyosaki is a very brilliant man, and he has helped to inspire so many people. And that'll be all for today.